probably rather be in the top.
First leg, Rob to throw first. Game on.
Looks like George Noble's throat's feeling a bit better, which is great news. Now, who's going to be feeling sick as a chip after this one? Like you mentioned, Murph, I think Joe likes playing against Rob.
He won't like that, Paul. He won't like that at all, because Rob Cross has made a perfect start.
It wasn't perfect yesterday against Chris Dobie, but it was good enough.
102.5 the average in a 6-4 win against Hollywood.
It's one of those 102 averages that looks quite mundane. And
yeah,
he's grown accustomed to doing that.
That's how you can see how good a player is, when you don't seem to play very well, but then you look at the stats afterwards and they point to something else. Well, Joe Cullen's dart was pointing in the treble 20, but ended up on the floor there.
He did a full jig to the right and jig to the left before it fell out the board. It's very unfortunate. Rob Cross has started this match with a real purpose. Now, if you're playing first or second in the afternoon on a Sunday, you know you're going back to the hotel. Providing you...
Well, you might be going back there if you lose.
Win or lose, you're going back to the hotel.
Just to collect your suitcase and get on a flight.
Single 18 for double 16.
Rob Cross doing his thing, finding the thing he needed.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's all about programming your day for a Sunday. It's different to any other day on the European Tour.
96.
So on a Friday or a Saturday, or in the case of Munich, a Saturday and a Sunday, you program when you get here, you play your match, you go back to the hotel. But if you play early on the Sunday, you most definitely go back to the hotel. You don't stick around here all day waiting
57.
for potentially 3 more matches. Now, MVG is playing last match in the afternoon, so he has already made his mind up that he's coming
140
for about what? Right about now. Right about 1:30. 3 hours before his game. And then he will stay here for the rest of the evening, providing that he gets through Van Barneveld.
Yeah, well, we've seen players come a cropper in the past
140
with preparation on the final day, but I'm not sure it's something that will affect this pair, because they've been in this position so many times that they will have played in almost every position.
That's a very good point. Very good point indeed. Experience does tell when it comes to Sundays on the Euro Tour. And they flip-flop the draw. So last week Van Gerwen was playing first as number 1 seed. This time he's last. Now Cross is playing very, very well at the start, and he's suffocating Joe Cullen.
Yeah, the timing of that, absolutely sublime from Rob Cross, because he's got a big chance now to break the throw. Needs just 1 treble for a dart at the ball. And Cullen only managed to fire in 58 from that 170. He's got the treble here, Cross, but he hasn't hit the big number.
Greedy.
88.
Can Cullen punish him?
112.
Wants 80 with his first 2 darts, but now he can't go out. A missed big number for him as well. Professional darts players, these men.
Well, I think he was just having a bit of a laugh with George there, sorry. As if to say, what have I got left?
Yeah, how can I take it out? You can't, Joe.
12 darter, 13 darter from Rob Cross. That's a blistering start. Joe Cullen's in trouble early. He's going to have to find another level to his game if he's going to beat Voltage today. Now, yesterday against Jerry Hendricks, he even admitted to us in the commentary box afterwards that he was glad to have a slightly easier game for a change. This year, on Saturdays, he's been given some deadly draws. He had Glenn Durrant in one of them, which was a magnificent game.
Yeah, Cullen reached the quarterfinals last weekend, beaten by Simon Whitlock. Cross made the semis before being trounced by MVG, which seemed to be happening on a weekly basis at the moment.
It was happening last year, though, and then all of a sudden he figured it out, didn't he? He beat him in Leverkusen on the European Tour at one point, which was a couple of years ago. But then he figured out how to get him. He lost to him in the European Championship final, and by the time they played each other again, well, beat him in the World Championship semi-finals, didn't he? So maybe he's going to do the same again. Lose quite a lot of times to Van Gerwen, and then beat him in the biggest game of them all.
Well, he was getting closer and closer then. Well-timed assault from Joe Cullen.
You require 170.
But Rob Cross could make a big noise against a rock star here.
I reckon when he threw that, he thought that was going in.
34, Joe, you require 41.
Yeah, it looked like a decent guide.
Great leg of darts.
Joe Cullen.
It's one of those legs that you talk about when you lose matches. You go up to all your friends and you say, well, yeah, I left 36 after 12 and didn't get a shot. Back in the day, we'd say that all the time and convince people we were playing well, but with Dart Connect and the European Tour streaming on PDC TV these days, there's no lying from the players. Everybody can see what happens.
Well, you mentioned the performance of Rob Cross yesterday, the average of 102.5, and that was kind of par for the course for Cross at the moment, consistently averaging over the 100 mark. Joe Cullen has got the ability to put in some astronomical figures, but he's got a massive kind of range, hasn't he, Cullen? And sometimes it can be mid-80s, sometimes it can be 110.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to find that higher level at the minute. He's played some very good stuff at the start of this season. He's already said that the Euro Tour has brought out the best in him. But even with that, he's still got another level to find.
At the moment, they're both finding a very, very high level in this match. Winning legs of 12 and 13 darts for Rob Cross and an 11 dart breaker throw for Joe Cullen in the last leg.
142.
And that one came out of the hand a little bit late for the 60.
64.
But that's okay. Rob Cross seems to be having a leg off here. Just needs to gather his thoughts and start another assault on throw next time around. Now, I'm not saying that he's automatically won this leg, Joe Cullen, because you can miss a lot of darts at double, but you would think he will get it from here.
Well, he'd been on a finish in every leg after 9 darts, Rob Cross, before this one, and he's not on one after a dozen.
That's a very good leg from Joe Cullen. Steady away. Worst of the match. Terrible 15 darter.
Shocking.
High quality stuff.
Cullen has, as we mentioned earlier on, and kind of what you were saying about Cross against Van Gerwen a couple of years ago, Cullen has acquired the knack of beating Rob Cross on the stage. He lost his first 2 meetings with him, but those wins at the European Championship and the Masters will be in the minds of both players.
Playing certain people on stage, it's an intricate thing. It's an intricate education. Now, 10 years ago, there was only one guy that people had real trouble with beating on stage, and that was Phil Taylor. But there are more talents these days where you've really got to educate yourself on their pace. Well, these guys know each other very well, and they haven't missed a double yet, so they're obviously comfortable. But like you see with Cross there, he does take his time sometimes, goes back to the table. Sudovic does that as well. With Van Gerwen, though, he does the walk around. As soon as he finishes, he goes off the walkway there, straight back, and then straight back into a throw. He doesn't stop. You've got to get used to someone's pace so you can actually play comfortably up there.
Yeah, this is, well, so far, we don't know how it will end up, but the best standard of match between the pair. They did meet at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy in 2017, but in all of the meetings that they've had, neither player has ever averaged over 100.
I think that might change today. There's not a lot being missed in this match. This is top quality stuff.
Well, nothing has been missed on the outer ring, and with Rob Cross wanting double 18, that trend is likely to continue.
Doesn't matter where it goes, whether it's in the middle, the right, left, top or bottom, as long as it gets inside the wire. And he's proved you right, Murph.
80.
Limit wasn't really a bold call, was it? Rob Cross extremely accomplished in finding that particular target. And plenty of other ones as well.
We were talking yesterday about his love for the 18 section and how He won the 2018 World Championship. That's not an accident.
48.
Well, what are you suggesting, that he needs to start focusing on double top now?
Possibly, if he wants to be 2020 World Champion.
And who's going to win it next year?
Someone who likes treble 7. Probably Wadey then, because he does like a treble 7 on 61. There are a few people who do that. Gerwyn Price does that as well.
Not sure that's quite how it works, but we will watch with.
It'd be funny if it did happen like that, though.
140.
Very respectful crowd in on a Sunday, as usual. It's usually party time on a Saturday night, then Sunday afternoons it's family day here at the Euro Tour. Lots of kids here. And you guys wouldn't have seen what happened just before we came on stage for the first game, but Elmar Polka, the German MC, invited a young kid onto the stage, and he did his favourite walk-on song, which was Peter Wright, and Peter Wright surprised the kid on stage by doing it with him. It was a really nice moment.
77.
Well, Rob Cross will be feeling good about that moment there, but it came as no surprise.
140.
And if he can continue the perfect record on doubles in this match, and he will restore that two-leg cushion he opened up early on.
First miss at double in the match. Ooh, followed by a really big miss.
Yeah, a really bad miss. And Cullen handed a chance. Does he gamble or does he go for the ball? Finds the ball.
63.
And now he misses. And Rob Cross does get the chance to break again.
Well, signs weren't good after that single 13, only just went in. Double 8 is pushed. Double 4 is pierced. 4-2 cross. Maintains an average in the region of 106, 107.
Yeah, I think that was a valid point you made, Paul. You can often kind of gauge the visit when there's a single number followed by a double needed.
Yeah, for people out there who are looking at those types of shots, the 95s, the 94s, where you go bull first.
59.
Go for the single after you've got the 25, or even the bullseye in that spot. But give that single some focus. Don't just take it for granted. You could easily take your focus off the single and push or pull it into a different segment.
But especially for the rhythm players, because how many times do you see a dart go in the single to the left or right, or high or low, depending where it is on the board, and then they miss the double when it's bang in the centre, often the double follows straight away.
Well, these are the shots that they practice endlessly in the practice room before they go up there. They play a game called 1-2-1 with another player, where they've got to get 1-2-1 in 9, and then they just keep going up by 122, 123. And they leave people like Joe, people like Wadey, whoever they practice with, shots like 95, 94. And that's how they get sharp on different transitions in different parts of the board.
Well, 90 left here for Rob Cross after 9. Favourite section. Well, it's a good miss this time for Rob Cross. It was a bad miss, but a good one. And you'll know what I mean when I say that.
Absolutely right. It's almost like he was using the single 4 as the single part of a 3-dart combination on 90.
29.
This game is drifting away from Joe. Rob has been too good so far on the scoring. It's been too powerful. Very good on double 16 as well. He's as good on double 16 as he is on treble 18, which is very strong indeed.
Cullen has to win 4 consecutive legs, or Rob Cross will not only take the lead in their head-to-head stats, but he will move into the quarterfinals of the German Darts Open and set up a meeting with Gerwyn Price.
100.
It's got the possibility of being the strongest quarter-final lineup we've ever seen on the Euro Tour. We could have Cross against Price,
57.
Lewis against White, Wright against Sulevic or Gurney is brilliant. You know, even with Chisnell versus Sulevic or Gurney. And then potentially the UK Open champion or James Wade against MVG or RVB. It's just a sickening day of talent.
Well, it's decent, but any quarter-final lineup that doesn't feature Phil Nicholson is not strong enough for me.
58.
No comment. Rob Cross looking to leave a finish from here.
100.
Does so, but he wanted to be down to 1-2-1 after hitting 80 with the first two. Joe's been frustrated. He's played very well today, but there've been just 1 or 2 darts on the wrong side of the wires.
161.
He won't be using treble 20 or treble 17 segments in that combination.
93.
He so often finds a 54, and Cullen finds himself needing to take this out, which he's not going to do. So he might find himself being taken out when Cross returns.
Yeah, he's been knocked dizzy as the rock star, and he probably feels that Cross is going to take this out for a 6-2 victory. Plants that treble 20 for double 4, 2 for the match. That one came up low, as did that one. Now, if Joe can believe enough and take this out, he could start a charge.
Might only be a dart at the bull. He's 1 at double 5, and he hasn't found it. And Rob Cross has missed 2 for the match, now wants double 2 for the match.
Now,
that's tricky, isn't it?
How does he find that one? High and left? Now, penny for your thoughts. Impossible dart.
No score. Joe, you require 5.
A chance for Cullen. Rob Cross made it hard for himself. Can Cullen make it harder? That's how you do it, Rob. Cullen clings on.
Well, the face of Joe was as if to say, well, if you don't want it, I'll have it. It does sting a bit when you've had so many darts at that section and then your opponent comes up and plucks it first time. Oh, there it is. That's what dart players usually say.
43.
He's got to mount a charge here, Cullen. He can't afford to have visits like that because Rob Cross is getting 140s for fun here.
I think for Rob Cross there, often you throw a good dart at double and it blocks the bed. It was actually quite a way off and it still managed to block the bed, that dart at double 2.
Yeah, sometimes the dart comes out of the hand and it flops into the board with the least amount of power he can throw it with. And when that happens, the flight goes high, the point goes low, and he covers a lot of the bed.
Well, there was a time for Rob Cross, before he had his darts tinkered with a little bit to get some extra grip, that every now and again he'd have an absolute flyer come out of his hand, miss the board on occasion.
That happens to everybody now and again. Last night, Sudovic had a beauty of a flying dart. He actually hit the 2 of the double 20.
Yeah, he chipped away, didn't he, at the number. Rob Cross chip away at this one. The last time he missed a big number going for this finish. No such trouble this time. Wants the ball.
99.
Couldn't quite find it, but once again, Cullen needing a big finish to stay alive.
619s. Only has 2 of the first 2 darts. Try to leave tops. Does so.
98.
And he has to pray again.
25.
Same scenario, 2 darts for the match. But it's a different bed he's aiming for.
It's a preferred bed, but once again he's had to open up the angle. This time, Rob Cross finds a way, and he finds a way through, once again, making a 100+ average.